Welcome, Jenna and Sherry. Thank you for being with us today. My name is Michaela Whitlow. I am one of the therapists here at Valley Health. I work in the medication-assisted treatment program, and I have several different groups, but I also specifically work with pregnant and postpartum women that are in recovery. And so I'm just thank you for being here, and let's go ahead and hear from you all. Introduce yourselves. Tell me kind of what you do and what your program has to offer for our patients.
My name is Jenna Rose. I'm a registered dietitian with Valley Health WIC program. I'm the nutrition coordinator and the outreach coordinator for Valley Health for Cabell, Wayne, and Lincoln counties. I have 20 years of experience here with the Valley Health WIC program, and we offer a variety of services here at the WIC program. We are focused on pregnant women, postpartum women, breastfeeding moms, infants and children up to 5 years of age. And we are a nutrition program, but we focus on, besides nutrition counseling, we also focus on breastfeeding, promotion, and support for our moms. We also link families with different resources in the community to meet their needs. We provide some basic health screenings to our families. And then we also make referrals to different programs that our families may need. So if they need a birth to 3 referral or a Head Start referral or something local, just like a food pantry referral, for example, we can help make those referrals and get those services for our families.
Sherry, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you have to offer our pregnant and postpartum women?
Okay, my name is Sherry Carpenter, and I have been a WIC peer counselor for 28 years now. I'm also, I have my IBCLC. I breastfed 9 children, so I think that's what's helped me the most in my career. So what we offer is we speak to, I work in Cabell and Lincoln counties, and we meet with all the prenatal moms, or speak to all the prenatal moms now. Just encouraging them. We talk about the benefits. Again, like Jenna said, WIC is a nutrition program, and breastfeeding is the best nutrition for these babies. So we send out information, we send out our phone numbers, we try to be there available. So we answer any questions they have prenatally. Before COVID, I was actually in the hospitals, waiting to see when I'll be able to get back in there, so we could help moms like right after delivery. And then we see, as moms breastfeed, if they if they have questions, we have our phone numbers available, and we actually are allowed to see moms in the hospital, in the office. So we have moms come in. We just try to do whatever we can to keep them nursing for as long as they can.
Why would you say it's important for women, specifically in the medication-assisted treatment programs, to take advantage of your all services?
I think it's important because it gives moms another resource and another support network to help them out. Like I said, we are a nutrition program, but we are familiar with a lot of community resources that can help these families, even if it's not connected to nutrition. And so we do want to help these families meet their family goals, not only their nutrition goals, but also their family goals. And I think a lot of families need that support because they just may not know where to turn to for a specific concern. And even though we do focus on nutrition, at least we can give them a warm handoff to another program that might be able to meet those needs that we can't provide. And additionally, I would say, the foods that we provide are nutrition specific for what pregnant, postpartum breastfeeding moms need and infants and children. So we are different than the SNAP program, where SNAP, a lot of times they can buy pretty much any food product. WIC does specify what foods they can purchase, but that's for a reason, because these foods have key nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that help during these critical periods of development during pregnancy and early childhood.
Okay, absolutely. Is there any specific support offered to women in the MAP program or for the infants that may be experiencing neonatal abstinence syndrome?
As far as WIC, we do try to encourage services like with Healthy Connections, like RV Cares, and different programs out there that we know may be available to these families, Birth to 3, Head Start, Early Head Start, home visitation programs that pregnant moms or moms of young children can get into, qualify for. So we do provide those types of resources. As far as, specific formulas or something like that, if a mom would need that because she's unable to breastfeed for some reason, we can offer some specific types of formulas. Sometimes they do have to get a physician note from that doctor to get that special formula, but WIC can really help with some of those special, maybe more expensive formulas too, if a child needs that for some reason.
Okay.
And if they decide to breastfeed, we have, we have 24-hour, they get our home numbers. We can always answer our phone. We're here in the offices. And that's the biggest thing, is because a lot of these moms, they get discouraged from breastfeeding. And so, there are guidelines, like you have to be in a program and things like that. But we have all this information, resources about the different medications, things like that. So we try to be there for them, just to be able to have this relationship with their child, because the child does better if they're nursing, because they kind of wean down gradually. So it's better health-wise for the mom and the baby. And I think it forms a better connection between the mom and the baby. So we have us as a resource here for that too.
Okay, excellent. So what is a woman to do if she wants to get enrolled in WIC or get help with lactation services?
As far as getting enrolled in WIC, there's some different ways they can get enrolled. Currently, due to COVID protocols, we are doing all of our appointments over the telephone. So they could just give us a call and we can let them know what they may need to email or text us to get on the program. And then we would complete that appointment over the telephone as long as we had all the documentation we needed. At any time, any potential WIC participant can apply online on our website. You want me to give that, or do you just want me to?
Sure, yeah.
That website would be dhrr.wv.gov//WIC, but that would be our website, that they can go on there. There's a place that they can apply for WIC right online. It comes to our state office and then they send those by county to the local offices, is how that works. So sometimes it does take 2 or 3 days for the local office to get that, because it does go to the state. But calling your local WIC office is probably the easiest thing to do to get started with WIC. Of course, when we do reopen our office, they can also walk in, and we can help them that way also.
Okay, excellent. In regards specifically to breastfeeding, Sherry, what are some of the unique challenges that you see for women that are in medication-assisted treatment?
I think the biggest challenge I see is for them and most others is just the support. I don't think we have a lot of OBs that really ask moms about how they're feeding the baby. So their goal is just to deliver baby gets here, and then they're stuck in the hospital, and then you have the pediatricians. I see like there's no flow of care for them, and that's where we lose a lot of moms. I know Cabell has a full-time IBCLC, but she's only there Monday through Friday. So I get a lot of phone calls, like moms that deliver over the weekend, didn't have a lot of help or are frustrated. So I think the support is the biggest issue we have. And that's why we try to be available. So we have a peer counselor in the office pretty much every day. We provide our phone numbers. We're doing, yeah. And now we have, they're promoting, it's an app, it's called Pacify. And so when we get a mom certified, we have a code on the back that they can download the app, and it provides a 24/7 support system also that way, so they can speak to a lactation person. So I mean, we try to just have all the, they can easily pick up a phone, call us, call Pacify, anything. So we try to make it easy for them. A lot of moms I see in the MAP programs, when I talk to them, they're like, nobody's asked them about how they're going to feed the baby. I think they're just like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. And so they don't think of it as an option for them, and they don't see the health benefits for them. So I love when, we get to actually talk to these moms and find out their experiences. Like we do a history on them and find out what's going on with them. So I think support is the biggest barrier to our breastfeeding rates.
Sure. And you mentioned the benefits. What are some of the benefits that you see for the moms when they breastfeed?
For moms?
Mhm.
Well, actually, it reduces mom's risk of ovarian cancer, breast cancer, uterine cancer, osteoporosis, babies' risk asthma, allergy, colic, SIDS, juvenile diabetes, certain leukemias, cancers. It's an emotional attachment. I think it helps with depression because your body releases good hormones and endorphins when you're nursing. So I think that helps for a lot of moms I see that may be on anxiety meds or depression, things like that. We talk a little bit about that. I just don't think there's enough people out there that really realize what all the benefits there are. So I have a list that goes up the whole wall of all the benefits of breastfeeding, all the good things that are in it.
What about for an infant specifically with neonatal abstinence syndrome? What kind of benefits have you seen for those babies when they breastfeed?
They get the health benefits. They wean down gradually. I like that they probably would not have to have medication themselves because they are getting it through the breast milk, and they can wean down gradually. I think it's a good thing for moms and babies as far as attachment, getting close to the babies, holding them, just touch and skin to skin is so important for babies too. And it's just all those health benefits mentally and physically for them.
What can you say about marijuana use while breastfeeding? I know we have some moms that will want to, or maybe even do, go ahead and continue marijuana use throughout pregnancy and breastfeeding. What does the research say on that?
That is one that is not recommended no matter what. It just has such a long half-life in your system. I mean, it can be weeks and weeks. And so we don't recommend that at all. I did look up the marijuana is an L4, and they say it's because it's got a potential for neurobehavior or psychomotor delays, can cause poor feeding, poor weight gain. And it's a sedative, and it can stay in the baby's system, in their urine for weeks. I think one of the concerns also is, like, if mom is smoking marijuana, they get more sedative and things, and they worry about them being able to take care of the baby, actually being alert and feeding cues, things like that. So we do not recommend that at all.
Okay, good to know. And then I know a lot of the moms in the MAP program have a lot of barriers when they want to breastfeed, but then have a lot of barriers when they do start to try. One main thing being the separation from the baby. Baby may stay inpatient in a hospital or Lily's place, and then mom has to go back home. So what kind of advice or tips would you give for a mom that's wanting to breastfeed but has those barriers?
Well, the WIC program has pumps that we can supply moms. We loan them out. Now, most insurances are good about providing moms with a pump now, but if not, we have pumps that we loan to moms. And so that's kind of a thing that they can do for their baby. And then they can take the milk to the hospital. I mean, I have a lot of moms that would pump and take it to the hospital and they would feed the baby the milk, so they're still getting the breast milk. A lot of skin to skin is very important. That helps with your supply. And then just that attachment with the baby. But they can do a lot of pumping and still feed their baby even though they're not with them.
Okay, excellent. Any final thoughts or things that maybe I didn't ask that you feel is important for our moms to know?
I just wanted to say for our families that with WIC, families automatically qualify for the WIC program. We do check income, but they automatically qualify if they receive SNAP or a West Virginia medical card or a TANF check. Those are automatic qualifiers, so they don't have to show paycheck stubs or anything like that. Now, if there is a family who doesn't qualify for any of those programs, we do follow the 185% of the poverty level, the federal poverty level. And currently, like a family of 4 right now can make $49,025 a year and still qualify for the WIC program. So we can look at the last 30 days of income and we can determine if they qualify based on their paycheck stubs if they don't qualify for any other DHHR programs. But I did want to mention that they don't have to show income if they receive one of those other DHHR benefits.
Good to know. Thank you. Sherry, any final thoughts from you?
No, I'm just glad that you all are, working with these moms. And I know Dr. Price has had me come in before and speak to some of the moms groups and things like that. So just getting the words out and the message out that there is help, there is support for these moms, and try to stress how much more beneficial breastfeeding is for these moms and the babies especially.
Excellent. Thank you.
I was just going to mention WIC does have a lot of technology pieces to the program. Like all of our benefits are on a debit card, similar to like a SNAP card. We have a WIC shopper app, which you can register your WIC card with, and it will show you your benefits, what you've used, how much you have left, the spend dates of your benefits, because WIC benefits do run month to month. It will also have a bar code scanner feature on that app. So if you're not sure what foods you can purchase with your WIC, you can scan the barcodes and it shows you if that's a WIC approved item for your food package or not. So that's really beneficial. The other thing we have is a WIC Smart app, which sometimes for appointments, you don't physically have to come in. Right now, we're not seeing anybody actually in the office, but during normal procedures, sometimes you don't have to actually come into WIC. You could do your appointment on a WIC Smart app, which has multiple classes on there, and they could just complete one of those classes and submit it to us, and it comes directly to our computer system, and then we can load their benefits to the cards. So that just helps a little bit for working families or families that have challenges getting to the office. That's one way that WIC's found it easier. Instead of doing group education classes, they can do it individually through this app.
Right, makes it a lot more accessible.
Exactly. And I mean, you don't have to add this on your session, but I'm just throwing this out there. With the whole COVID procedures that we've had over the last year and a half, I feel like, they have changed some of our WIC policies to make it more accessible for families during COVID, but they've also changed some of our policies permanently too, to go along with that. So I feel like as we move into WIC in the future, that they're going to find ways to continue this accessibility, because I think what they have found by us doing this over the phone, we are lacking certain things that we had before, like measurements of kids and hemoglobins. So we're missing those key pieces, but I feel like we're in the works to try to find a way, like Sherry was saying, to have more continuity of care with physicians, and maybe we can get that information from physicians, and so parents don't have to come to WIC as often. So then we still have those key pieces of information, making sure the children are going to the doctor, they're actually getting weighed and measured, because WIC's kind of a safety net program. You know, if they didn't go to the doctor, but they came to WIC, at least somebody had measurements on this child, and at least somebody was screening if their immunizations were up to date or not up to date. But with us not seeing people in the office this last year, like, we have to take their word for it that they've been to the doctor. And so I think there's going to be some changes, hopefully, at least in our state and maybe federally, that they will change some of those rules and regulations where maybe they don't have to be present in our office as much, and we can get that information other ways by sharing medical information and things like that down the road. Because really, people with transportation challenges or work schedule challenges that may have never participated in WIC or not very often participated, went on and off the program frequently because they just couldn't make it to the appointments, have now been able to participate because they've been able to do this on their lunch break or something quick. They didn't have to go and pick up children at childcare and bring them to. They could do it quickly over their 30-minute lunch break. So, or they didn't need to share a car with somebody. They could just do it while they were home with the kids. So it has been, bittersweet, I guess, with the COVID. The good thing is we've been more accessible to a lot more people. Like I said, some of that safety net features have kind of not been there though for us. So
what would you suggest to families who are feeding like formula if they exceed the amount that they are allotted per month by their WIC benefits? What other resources are available that they can access quickly?
The two resources we use, or actually 3 resources we use the most, is usually the Cabell County Family Resource Center, which is actually located at Markham Terrace in the gym. There is the Cabell County Family Resource Center, and anybody in Cabell County can go to that location and see if they have the formula, or call them ahead of time is what we recommend, and see if they have formula there. We also recommend the RV Cares, is it Baby Bites Pantry, I think. We recommend them because we try to pick places that's located in different parts of Huntington. So if they're in the West End, that's who we would recommend. If they're over more in Southeast Hills, we would kind of recommend the Markham Terrace. We also work with Reclaim Church, and they also usually have formula in stock. And if they have one of the formulas the client needs, they can make arrangements with them to come and pick it up there. So we do use those 3 main resources. There's also Gabriel's Project. I'm not sure if it's been open with the COVID situation or if it's reopened. I haven't made contact with them recently. And then, of course, we will refer to information and referral if none of those other resources are a good resource for that family. Most families, we encourage them, if they receive SNAP benefits, to buy an extra can or so of formula at the beginning of the month with their SNAP. You can purchase formula and baby food with SNAP. So we encourage them to go ahead and buy and prepare. So at the end of the month, when their WIC runs out, that they can already have that can or two of formula on their shelf. WIC is designed to be a supplemental program, so we weren't designed to cover for the full month. So most families, if they're on powdered formula, need to usually buy somewhere between 1 and 3 cans a month, depending on how big of eater their baby is. So those are kind of the resources. We never recommend, not mixing the formula correctly or anything like that. That can be really dangerous for a baby if you add additional water to your powder formula to try to string it out. So we don't recommend doing anything like that. That can actually cause water intoxication, which then can be deadly to an infant. So we don't want to run that risk or anything like that. So I know some families do get desperate and they want to make that infant formula stretch, but never not mix that formula correctly, because that can be a really big, a serious medical situation if you do that.
Sherry, what about, are there any specific feeding issues that you notice that are common with babies that have NAS?
It just depends on, I try to tell mom, like newborns want to nurse a lot because they want to regain their birth weight. So I know a lot of moms, if they do have that intense, wanting to suck all the time, some will use a pacifier. I recommend to moms to just use their finger to let the baby suck on their finger, because it's skin to skin contact. And you're not introducing an artificial nipple, especially when you're trying to get the breastfeeding going.
So what would you say to a woman that's concerned about breastfeeding because she's having to take Suboxone instead of Subutex?
Mainly just to watch baby. Because I'm not the doctor. All I can do is be a support system. I can't tell a mom, oh, well, this one's bad. I can give them the information if they ask out of the book, but I can't, go against what the doctor is telling her. So all I can really do is just give her the information. She can speak to the doctor. But mainly all I can do is just, well, you need to watch for this, tell her what to look for, and be a support for her in her breastfeeding relationship. Definitely we want to do, you just want to we always check babies' weights. Like when we first see a mom, we get the birth weight and the discharge weight. And so the baby should be by 10 to 14 days, should be back to the birth weight. And then we just kind of monitor. And that's what I love about WIC, because even though we have COVID going on and we're not seeing people in the office, we're allowed to have moms come in to see us. Like I had a mom come in Tuesday for a weight check. She had come on the program. The baby was 6'15" at birth, and she reported the baby was 7'14" at 4 months old. I was like, can you please bring the baby in? Because I was really worried about that baby. And they had just moved here, and so she didn't have a doctor. And so she brought the baby in, and it turned out the baby was 14.7. So she had her numbers backwards. So I was relieved. But I love that because we have baby weigh scales, and we have a private office, so we can just keep monitoring babies. And so that's the one thing we can do a baby weight led feeding. We have moms come in if they're worried about their supply, which are some of the things that you would worry about with these. We have the mom come in, we can weigh baby before, nurse the baby, and weigh baby after, and we can tell her how many ounces he's drinking and making sure that baby is getting enough, things like that.
What about challenges with moms that are pumping because the baby is still in the hospital? How can she keep her supply up?
We tell them just, first of all, we have hospital grade pumps, and I think that's the biggest thing is you've got to have a good pump. Pumping consistently every 2 to 3 hours. And a lot of moms, we even have one pump that you can record your baby on, like the sounds and things like that, because that kind of helps the mom. We say, look at a picture of the baby, just to get yourself in that mindset. You can listen to the baby, watch a video of the baby, to try and decrease the stress in her head of, oh, my baby's not with me, to kind of just focus on the baby and pump. But definitely having a good pump is a key to that. And that's, even the Ronald McDonald House has, I didn't know they have good pumps now. So it's great. I've had some moms staying there and they're like, oh no, they loaned me a pump here. So it's awesome that you have that resource too for babies and the NICU.
So what would you say to a mom that maybe is thinking about breastfeeding? How can she prepare for that experience so that it's the most successful?
Well, like Jenna was saying, just giving them a little bit of information at a time. We have a prenatal sheet that they fill out when they come in, or I do over the phone now. But it asks a whole list of questions like going back to work or school, any medications they're taking, if they smoke, if they have any certain kind of piercings or trauma. We ask all these questions so we can focus on, instead of doing, just, oh, this is all the information about breastfeeding, we focus on what they need. So that's a nice way, like we just focus on the questions they've answered and try to give them answers to those. So they can kind of work things out. Like a lot of going to work moms think that they can't breastfeed because they don't realize they can do both. I have some moms that nurse while they're home and bottle feed while they're away. So we just try to direct it toward the client, each individual client.
So preparing for that experience, when, they're going and they're in a MAP program and there's a possibility that the baby will be in the hospital or, there's going to be some barriers there. What would you say to those mothers to kind of prepare for that experience?
I just really talk about the benefits. It's like, because they're focused on the baby. And so you want to feed into that. Like, this is what you can do. A lot of moms feel guilty about the situation they're in. And I just try to encourage them, like, you can do this for your baby. You can give your baby the best health possible, because they are concerned moms. They're concerned about their baby's health. And if we just kind of go with that, you don't want to make them feel bad. And we do. And we, as peer counselors, like, we have moms that bottle feed, and they can call us if they're having trouble with engorgement, drying up, but we don't want the moms to feel guilty about any situation, but we try to encourage them with the information that this is a nutrition program and this is the most nutritious thing and healthy thing for your baby.
And I think making sure that they talk to their doctors prior to having their baby. If they've already picked out a pediatrician for their baby, also talk to that person and let them know what their wants are, how they want to feed this baby. And if breastfeeding is the choice, then have these conversations with the OBGYN, the pediatrician, and figure out what pathway you can do to get to that end goal. And if that is okay, while you're in the hospital, you have to pump, but then when you get home, you can latch the baby. I think you can work with that. And if they don't have a good pump at home, or they're not going to have access to that at the hospital, then they need to talk to us about that, so we can get some of those measures in place for them. So when they deliver, they can come right in and borrow one of our hospital grade pumps, so they can have that at home to pump when they're separated from the baby, or take it to the hospital when they do see the baby. Maybe they can pump because maybe the letdown's better because baby's present, or they hear their baby cry or see their baby smile or whatever. So, I think it's really that continuity of care, trying to communicate. It's really important for the woman to communicate her wishes to every personnel that's caring for her. If that's her counselor, if that's a WIC lactation consultant or WIC nutritionist, or her doctor, her pediatrician that's going to be for the baby. It's just important for her to communicate those wishes to everybody so everybody can help her work toward that goal.
Well, thank you so much for your all's time. This information is so valuable, and I look forward to reaching out to you all and connecting you all with some of the patients in our program. Thank you for being here today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.